Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to my home studio. I am Ben Crow and I am ever so slightly insane, but that's why we're here. We're coming to you with not even a guitar build. I have got a show this weekend at the New Bingley Hall in Birmingham, and we're going there with a couple of workbenches. We're going there predominantly to promote the Crimson Guitars Lutherie School. And we're going to have people doing a little bit of fretwork for fun and a little bit of basic neck carving on the stand. But we also are always inundated by people who want to see some of the guitars that I've built on the YouTube channel over the years. In fact, I had them at the Maker Central show this weekend. The guitars that we took, the Complication in particular, are all a little bit dusty and a little bit in need of love and care. And the last thing you want to do is go to a guitar show, say, hey, I'm a guitar builder, and then show them things that don't look like they've been particularly well looked after. Most of the issue is that they're hanging on the wall in the main office at headquarters, and it's been very, very dusty there over the last month or two, and that's it. But there's going to need to be some fret polishing, there's going to need to be some string changing and fretboard oiling and all of that sort of stuff. And I figured, you know what, instead of me sitting in my workshop and doing that over a couple of days alone, we might as well add a little bit of stress to the situation and bring you guys along for the ride. Burn it. We call it the Complication, but it really isn't. It's very simple, to be honest. Impressive looking, but fairly basic. It's just a carved exoskeleton, fairly delicate, and a single pickup guitar. Now, since I built this, I have not taken it apart. I have replaced the strings a few times, but I've not taken it apart into its component bits, and I think we're going to do that today. Essentially, at this point, the frets are a little bit in need of a polishing. The fretboard needs oiling. It's very dusty inside, and with that in mind, I am going to take, I'm going to take the skeleton, I think, off. I don't know. Let's remove the strings and we'll think about that. Who wants to see me make another one of these? I've got a very dusty instrument at its heart that does need to be looked at. Beautiful, beautiful quilted sapele, otherwise known as pommel sapele. Yeah, there we go, that's the rag I was looking for. These segments here were put in to support the top. Just going to get rid of the bulk of the dust with a delicate brush. This here is a slightly customized solid sycamore SRP kit from Crimson Guitars, and I asked them to make this body entirely out of the next piece of sycamore along in the plank from that one. So this bit of wood was next to this piece of wood. And my plan is, and this has been hanging on my wall for about 6 months or so, my plan is to take this and carve the entire thing into that, so there's not a body being hugged by a thing, it's just a thing that is the body. I think I could probably do something like that. Might take a while. Yeah, there's that. I've got some double-sided tape that's stuck to the top. I don't think our finish cleaner is going to be particularly efficacious on that stuff. Oh, would you look at that, it actually is. It's not solvent based. I wasn't expecting it to do that. It's even more magical than I thought. Woohoo! So I'm using the Crimson Fretboard and Finish Cleaner. And I'm just giving it a good clean. If anybody has a line on any quilted sapele of this quality that's big enough to make a guitar body, please let me know. I would very, very much like to buy some. Even if it's just a top. Well, that's already looking a lot better. Just that part. Yeah, there's more double-sided tape there. Now, on this whole instrument, funnily enough, the bit that really, really excites me isn't the exoskeleton. It's not the fact that that was so intricate and carved, etc. It's the neck. And instead of having a multi-laminate neck with a center section just going down the middle and being, I don't know, boring and middle of the road, I thought it would be fun to have a curved joint. And essentially I've got a curve that starts at these two sides and the wood is bent and goes like that, and that's not something that you will see pretty much ever on an instrument like this. And it's subtle and pointless. It serves no good purpose other than, that was a challenge. And nobody ever sees it because the guitar is hanging up on a wall frontwards. What can I do? Yes, drilling all these holes in the guitar was problematic to me. Essentially, I had no real choice. I needed to support the exoskeleton so that the instrument could actually be played, and yeah, it was the only way. Okay, so this is that's the guitar itself basically cleaned. The pickup's looking good. That's all fine. Let's sort the fretboard out while we're about it. Now, this isn't played very often, if at all, to be honest. Everybody's too scared to touch it, and they gasp when I take it off the wall. Frets are fine. Yep, that's fine. There's no point in continuing at that point. Now, cleaner. So there, I've cleaned the fretboard now. That's looking a lot better. And the next stage is going to have to be polishing, then a little bit more cleaning, because the frets are actually, they were just a little bit tarnished. So I'm going to go in straight with the superfine fret rubber here, buff away, and then a little bit more cleaner, and the fretboard restorative after the fact. Superfine fret rubber. every time. I think we should make these just a little bit bigger. Or maybe a little bit bigger. I'm going to go back and use a sharpening strop that's been impregnated with chrome polish. Where possible, I wanted to go over 2 frets just to keep it nice and supported. It wouldn't do too much damage to the fretboard if I slipped onto there, but enough that it's not ideal. It's back to a little bit of the fretboard and finish cleaner for the final pass. Now, I, for the life of me, can't remember what happened with this fretboard. I think it's actually varnish or lacquer or something, rather than an oil finish. I am going to put some fretboard restorative on there anyway, which is generally from oiled fretboards. And we'll see what happens, but yeah. Living life on the edge. Oh, that's a bit nice. That's that. That's our frets polished and looking nice. Our fretboard oiled, even though I think that is lacquered under there. But the oil has done some good stuff in any case. And I think I can now move on to the next stage of this, which is the exoskeletons. This looks fairly delicate, but in reality it's fine. It's just a chunk of wood. So I'm just going to brush everything out as much as I possibly can. Funnily enough, the dust doesn't really show up on the flame maple. It shows up on the Zapidi horrifically, but on the flame maple it's like it doesn't exist. Let's just put that down. Put some tissue up and fretboard and finish cleaner. Now that we've got the bulk of the dust off, I am going to go through and just clean. I've got some moth spotting in places and just bits and pieces. Well, let's have a look at this then. So that's the issue there. I'm going to put the guitar back in the case for now. Keep it out the way. That should do nicely. I've got some small copper wire. I'm going to drill a hole partly into both sides, into either side, and then essentially make a section of wire that holds the whole thing together. Museums and things use this technique to hold together pots that are damaged. Now that it's fitted, put some super glue in there. thick stuff from O3 adhesives and see how that works. In fact, the easiest way for me to do this is spooge a dot of it on there. Hi, everybody. So here's where we have ended up with. There's a copper pin there. It's a little bit sticky uppy, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm going to file that down a little bit. So here, I'm just take it off at an angle. I've got the delicate piece supported by 2 fingers. Nice. I'm happy with that. I really am. People were really shouty when I designed this guitar because they didn't think that there was any way that I was going to be able to restring it because the tailpiece ended up having to be underneath and through and around the exoskeleton. But that's just part of it. The whole plan for this instrument was that it was going to be an alien thing subsuming the guitar. It wasn't supposed to have been designed to be played, essentially. For the higher ones, I'll wrap it around a few times, 3 times, and then pull it through, lock it off, keep it under tension, and then tighten her up. Yeah, we're nearly there. And I push the winds down, the string goes through over the top, pull that tight, it locks it in place, and here we go. So I'm using D'Addario XLs at the moment, and every single string has got a color-coded ball end, and some girl at the guitar show was absolutely intrigued by my Infinity Stones strings, and yeah, it was funny. She was going around telling all of her friends about my Infinity Stone strings, which, yeah, I'm never going to forget. I'm always going to think of Infinity Stones now when I string up with these. Something else that I'd forgotten is I need to oil and reinstall the truss rod adjustment. And this one goes all the way under there. Last string. Nicely done. Okay, we're roughly in tune, and I'm just going to stretch the strings again. Okay, a little bit of high build guitar finishing oil. Oops. Slippery, won't that? There is that. Just for fun. Think it's an okay sound. It's an interesting guitar. It could be played, but with difficulty. I both love this guitar and hate it. I love the fact that it's being watched by so many people. This is one of the biggest video I ever did was the second part of the super edit of this. Like nearly 3 million people have watched that, and that's incredible to me. But it's with mixed feelings. It's a guitar that isn't played very much, if ever, and people are too scared to touch it, and that is not what I'm about. It never has been. I don't even know. Well, I do know. I wanted to show off, and that's what it has given me is mixed feelings. But I had my microphone off. This guitar is now ready for the show. I am going to be at the New Bingley Hall in Birmingham this weekend. That is the 7th and 8th. Hell, it's my birthday. Come and visit me on my birthday in Birmingham. And the Complication will be there. The Bog Oak and Gold guitar will be there. Bob will be there. And if you're available, I would love to meet you and see you there. I'll make sure she's in tune by then. In the meantime, if you can't make it, at the very least, promise me you will be in the workshop making sawdust. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, look at that. Isn't she great? The guitar's okay. The wood is incredible. Click like, subscribe, make guitars. All good. I'll see you soon.